Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
In the 60s, I made love to many, many women, often outdoors, in the mud and the rain. And it's possible a man slipped in. Would be no way of knowing.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
93X. All right. I was also just reading something that made me think of you, Josh. Somehow we got on the topic of of the old mid-90s movie, Mark Wahlberg and his Big Fat D. What the hell was that movie called?
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights. We got on the topic yesterday of Boogie Nights. I was busting Josh's balls that he hasn't seen Boogie Nights.
I was too. I told him there's nudity in it.
I mean, not only that, but it's just a really well done, dark movie.
It is a fantastic movie. More than just Heather Graham's boobs.
It's fun. It's interesting, and then it has more or less a terrible dark ending, and those are the kind of movies I'm drawn to. We were busting Cubby's nuts about specifically Heather Graham naked. We said, hey, dude, you can see Heather Graham naked in this movie, and Josh said, hey, I've seen naked women before, right? I just read something that brought me back to that moment. The subject is, what's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you, okay? We could get into that if you want. I mean, it's not the most original subject of all time. What's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you? And one of the entries into this article, someone says, I tried going to a strip club once, and I knew it wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. And they went on to say, it was so boring, and I just felt bad for the dancers.
Yeah.
You
Come
feel
on,
the same
man.
way, Ashley?
I guess I was actually just talking about this with my fiance about how when I go to normal female strip clubs, I have a blast. It's some of the happiest place in the world.
You mean a strip joint for men?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you say a female strip joint, I'm picturing naked men on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So when you go to the gentleman's club, you love it.
Yeah, it's a great time. But the one time that I went to a male strip show, I felt really bad about myself, I guess. Like, I felt like dirty, kind of like a pig. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was objectifying these men. It made me really uncomfortable.
Huh.
Now, that's very interesting, but I thought part of it was the people you went with, if I'm thinking of the same story, the people you went with were disgusting. Yeah. And didn't you leave because it was getting so wild you didn't want to have anything to do with it?
Yeah, it was the after party in the bar after the performance that the male gentleman put on for us. That's when it got weird, and I had to head out of there.
So that's the time? Yeah, I remember you called me and said you had to go, and I thought, you're pretty easygoing and you'll just go with the flow. But if it was bad enough where you left, it must have been something off.
Yeah, it was really aggressive. I don't really like the aggressiveness about it.
Well, what about the after party?
Was the dancing bear there or something?
What happened at the after party?
Some of the females that I attended the show with were trying to hook up with the male strippers. And it was getting gross.
The strippers came to the after party.
Yeah.
Oh, I was picturing just a bunch of women drinking at a bar.
No, I wish.
After their show was over, the men came down and had a few drinks, and that's when the women really turned the screws on them.
And it was just really, I didn't like the vibe. The vibe was off. It felt
I get it.
creepy.
Okay. All right.
On the list of things you tried once and you realize it's not for you, gambling is number one. And that's one for me, too. And I think it's because my first experience, I walked into a casino for the very first time, and there was a guy crying on the phone saying, I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage.
Oh, yeah,
It
that'll
ruined
do
it. It completely ruined it for me.
The first time you walked in, you saw a grown man crying.
I don't think I was 10 feet in. He's on the phone. There was a payphone by the door at the time. This is how long ago it was. There's a payphone, and he was bawling. And I have so much addiction in my family. I was worried I was going to love it and just be like a a gambler with an issue.
That sounds almost like some kind of preordained moment that God put in front of you to remind you this is not your game.
Yeah, because I mean, if I get into something, like, I jump in, and because I have an addictive personality, certainly. So I try and avoid things like that. And that was, like you said, maybe that was somebody saying, hey, this really shouldn't be for you. You could be in some trouble.
What did you do that evening? You played some cards, you played some slots.
Blackjack.
And the entire night, you probably couldn't shake the image of this crying grown man on the payphone.
No, and you guys know how...
You still remember it.
Oh, yeah. I'll never forget that. And I was 18, you guys... I know I've told you this story before, too. So, and you know how conservative I am. Like, if I'm up, I'm out, because I think, that's great, I'm up. But a buddy of mine, we went in, I think we had $40 each. And
big money when you're 18.
Oh yeah, it felt pretty good. We
Yeah.
had $40 each. Actually, my friend's dad kind of gave us some of it, and so we go and we're playing blackjack. All of us are doing bad. He gets down to his last $5, and all of a sudden he goes on a run, and he got up to $300. And I'm thinking, my God, let's go, dude. What are you doing? We've never even seen this kind of money. And so I'm telling him to stop. Like, I'm telling him to stop. And eventually he got up to $1,000, and I just shut up because I thought, well, I guess this guy knows what he's doing. So the first thing he does once he hit $1,000 is he goes to high stakes and lost it in one hand.
That'll happen.
So, I mean, overall he lost $40, but the potential of $1,000 for an 18-year-old kid.
Nah.
Imagine the damage
in
you guys...
1993.
I could have never done that.
Imagine the damage you guys could have done with that $1,000. What are you addicted to now? You mentioned a minute ago you have an addictive personality. What are you addicted to now?
Boy, good question. I mean, certainly Chipotle.
You would still call that your addiction?
Yeah.
Maybe caffeine. Some days you drink an amount that shocks me.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably one. It's specifically like Mountain Dew products.
How about home renovations?
I wouldn't say it's an addiction. It's something, because this is something.
It's a necessity?
We've been saving up for years. And we have some major, well, not anymore. A buddy of mine's basically rebuilt our house. We had some major issues going. Every appliance died to the point where people said, we can't fix this. And by the way, don't buy the same model. This is garbage. I'd say, I don't know, just like computer stuff.
All right.
I tend to like.
Well, that's not going to damage you as much as drugs, alcohol, or gambling, I suppose.
Try and keep it so it's not going to be a life ruiner.
But how about that? On the topic of what's something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you, going to the strip joint, it was so boring and I felt bad for the dancers. Oh, for God's sake, adjust your attitude a little bit.
God, that's too bad for her, how she made $3,000 this weekend.
Right. What a nightmare.
How she's driving a nicer car than I've ever seen.
Right, that hourly wage is pretty good.
Gambling never grabbed me.
I love it.
A lot of my friends, oh, God, it's got a hold of them. It grabbed them decades ago and it's still got a grip on them. Gambling just never drew me in. I mean, I don't mind a game of cards now and again. I don't mind throwing some money around.
What about slots?
Never, ever, appealed to me at all.
Yeah, slots never, I mean, some of the, like, basically video game ones are kind of cool. Like, when we go to Wisconsin, right, for our casino trip. Some of those video game ones are sweet.
I enjoy the vibe at a casino. I do. I love the crowd and the lights and the noise and the music. I love the vibe. I don't know why. I just don't have that in my wiring to play a lot of cards or cardboard cocaine or any. I dig the scene. It's just not my style to sit there for hours and strategize up and down how I could win this game of poker or this. It is what it is.
Hot tubs, not a fan.
All right,
I was looking forward to that. I thought, oh, this is going to be so much fun. Everybody loves hot tubs, and I didn't like it at all.
You know what? I'm with you, Josh. It's too hot.
Way too hot.
Never enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can maybe pull out like 5 minutes. I can try to fake it. I've tried to like it for other people because it seems like everybody else likes it. But no, I'd rather be in a normal pool.
Never enjoyed it, and I don't understand the draw. That also is included here in this report. Something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you. Hot tubs. All right, the others, running.
Yeah, even if I'm being chased, I couldn't do it anymore.
It takes a while to get into that. I forced myself to.
I could never run. I mean, the only time I ever ran in my entire life was when someone said, ready, set, go. You know what I mean? If it was part of a gym class or, what the hell? Why would I run?
I only ran one time, and it wasn't even on purpose. It was at Lake Harriet. I grew up a few miles away from there in Minneapolis. And for Christmas, I got 3 giant boxes of Mike and Ike's, those huge movie theater-sized boxes. They're smaller now, but they used to be really big.
Sure.
And I ate 3 of them. And I was so hyped up on sugar, I had to do something. So my intention was just to walk around the lake, but I was so hyped up, I started jogging, and I made it all the way around. I've never even come close to that.
How old of a person were you?
Oh, gosh. Maybe 16?
Did you puke?
No, I thought I was going to, though.
Yeah, I bet, yeah.
And so you felt this unbelievable surge of
I was
energy
vibrating.
and had to do something about it?
Yeah.
That's so much sugar.
I've never had that sensation in my life.
Like restless leg?
Sure.
That type of thing? Where
But
it
it was
kinda
your whole
hurts
body.
My entire body.
So you overdosed on candy.
I think I did.
What was going on that you wiped out 3 big fat buckets of, what do you call it? Mike and Ike's.
So good.
Well,
They're
you didn't
just
watch
so
it a
good.
movie or something?
No, I don't even know what I was. I was in a trance.
Dude, those are hard to quit once you start. I get it.
Cutest overdose ever.
That's a
Honestly, I thought I was going to die. I had to get it out.
Well, you have a similar story about caffeine and a road trip.
Oh, yeah, very similar.
Driving,
Pretty
you-
much the same thing.
I've never had that
That was to
sense
stay
yet.
awake, though. That was to stay awake. This was just pure gluttony.
Being a morning person is something that people have tried once and knew it wasn't for them. I hate it. I've hated every single time I've woken up for this show. I've asked myself why I do it. I hate early mornings. I hate waking up in the morning 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Are you one of those people that get crabby about it though? Because
No.
because I hate those kind of people that they wake up, they have to wake up early in the morning, and then they're just insufferable to be around.
No, I would never take that out on other people.
Oh, I hate that. Like what are you so mad about? You woke up again.
Scuba diving, hot yoga, virtual reality, giving birth.
Yeah.
Listen to this theory.
I don't think that's for anybody.
Listen to this theory on giving birth. I did it once, said a lady. The brain plays the candy corn trick on you, making you forget how bad delivering a baby is until you do it again.
That's what people say.
Oh, you've heard that slogan before, the
Yep.
candy corn trick?
Oh yeah.
I've never heard that before. So
It's funny because people keep asking me how many kids I want now that I'm pregnant with one, and every single time I'm like, I don't know, get back to me, or I'll get back to you after I go through labor. That's kind of the deciding factor.
Okay,
there.
that's going to be what makes the call, is how miserable or wonderful your delivery is?
Yeah, and then
You're going to get an epidural, right?
Oh heck yeah, give me the drug.
What is that? What's
my
that?
sister-in-law decided, no, we're going on natural. We're not going to do any
brave.
drugs. We're going to do one of those bathtub births. And in the middle of it, she changed her mind, and they said, it's too late now.
Oh no,
no.
heck no. An epidural, Nick, it's like a huge shot they put in your spine.
Yeah.
And it's basically numbs you.
Okay.
Takes you to La La Land a little
That's what
bit.
I thought it was. Yeah, it's a numbing shot. You can't feel a damn thing down there.
Yeah, that is, I will say though,
By the way, I can relate to that.
I think something's going on with me, too, but
Yeah,
go on.
I can't feel a thing.
I was very, very sick in the beginning of this pregnancy. I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, and it's basically like having the flu all day long. And I always thought, like, all right, I'm going to be one and done because I never want to risk if I go through this again. This is awful. But by now, looking back, I'm like, it wasn't that bad, was it? I don't know.
So now you,
So you do forget.
it's anybody's guess. Yeah.
That was my experience getting tased, where I did it for a demonstration, and immediately afterwards, there was no pain, no residuals, nothing. And I forgot, and I just decided, all right, do it again, and they did. So now I'm done. After the second one, I don't think I need it again.
You've got some weird stories. You've got some weird stories. Being tased should not be in this conversation of things you tried once and knew it wasn't for you.
Yeah, I don't want to do that again. I'd recommend against it if you were ever given the opportunity.
Back to children real quick. Ashley, one of my buddies, has 3 kids. Not all of them are grown yet either. My God, it seems like they should be, but they're not all of them are grown yet. 3 children, and he's not happy about it. He hasn't been happy about hasn't been a happy guy for years.
Poor man.
Poor kids.
When he had
True.
Oh, the kids get everything they friggin' want. Those
Yeah,
friggin'
but dad doesn't like you.
Well, whatever, How many of us can really say our dads liked us? Not many of us. So he was happy with 2. Then he had that 3rd, and everything's been terrible since. So much so that one night we were at a bar, and some mutual friends, how should I say this? People that I was friendly with, but my pal with the 3 children, he did not know them, okay? So I'm standing there with my pal, and here come these people. Hey, I know them. My pal does not. So I'm asking an update on this individual's life who just walked in. How's work? How's your family, right? And my buddy with the 3 kids overhears that this individual has a family. And he says, how many kids you got? Now, remember, this is a complete stranger to my buddy. And the guy that just walked in the bar said, oh, I got 2. My buddy walks up, complete stranger, walks up to this guy, face to face, so close that they're touching noses. After the guy said, I have 2 kids, my buddy walks up so close to his face that they're touching noses. And my buddy says, don't have 3.
They always say that. Once you're outnumbered, that's trouble.
And this guy that just walked into the bar kind of looked at my pal like, who are you? Why are you getting so close to me? Don't have 3, he said.
I would never forget that moment.
Yeah.
Trying something once and realizing it's not, or trying something realizing it's not for you. Up at the crack of dawn, Jesus said pegging.
Oh, sure.
But it took him 6 times to figure it out.
Yeah, you got to be
After
thorough.
the 6, he decided not.
Skiing, drinking Bloody Marys, helping the Prince of Nigeria. Those all land on this report of something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you.
Hate Bloody Marys. Liquid ketchup.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either. I tried one once. I don't get it.
Oh, this individual, I never tried, never had, never saw it, never had a Bloody Mary. Somebody here in the article said it tasted like a spicy, disgusting, fluid lasagna, and that does not sound appealing at all.
Remember for a while that was like such a trendy thing to get? It'd be like the ribs in the Flintstones, more and more huge things.
Yeah.
You'd have to.
It'd be like a burger and some ribs hanging out.
Yeah.
And wings.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're still popular, but for a while it was like a trend. Everybody was drinking that. That's when I tried one and I didn't get it.
That's because the Bloody Mary people know, look, we better do something here. We're going to lose everybody.
I get bullied for not liking them because, like, I'll go out to breakfast with some drinkers and they'll all get a Bloody Mary, and then I'm over here like, I'll take a screw up, please.
Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the Bloody Mary people. They know they need a rack of ribs and shrimp and a hot dog and 4 pounds of cheese to make their drink interesting. So don't listen to the Bloody Mary people. The last 2 things in this report on something you tried once and knew it wasn't for you, 3 ways, and doing it in the butt.
I wonder what kind of 3-way it was. I bet that matters.
That's a very good point. Because you might hear 3-way and you're thinking, oh, awesome. And then you see the lineup and it's not what you expected.
I'm gonna need to take a look at the lineup before I agree to this.
I had a friend that was kind of in that situation. His wife, he and his wife had been married only about 6-7 years at the time. And he had said, she was like, would you ever be interested? Because this is something I've kind of thought about.
She said this to him.
Yeah.
Right.
And so he said,
oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, I don't know. I don't know how interested I'd be in something like that. And she's like, that's weird because most guys would be totally pumped. He's like, I don't know if I could watch another guy have sex with you and stuff. She's like, no, wait a minute. I met another girl. So he had assumed she wanted to have sex with another guy. He never considered she'd give permission to a second girl.
I'll be damned.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
Vince Colonnese is redefining news talk.
Hi, I'm Vince Colonnese, host of the Vince Podcast. These conversations where we can air all of this out without the filters, without the censors, without people with judgment, that's how you get a healthy country. Adult, reasonable, sober conversations. That's all I want.
In-depth interviews, live caller interactions, and a front row seat to the most important conversations of the day.
That's why I'm so grateful that we get to do this every day. You are really the best damn audience in media.
The Vince Show.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Isn't that a religious show? With all the Jesus and Sheezus talk?
Oh, hell no.
Just kidding. They suck.
93X.
We get the jaw jack with a hell of a nice guy joining us at this time, a lieutenant from the Minnesota State Patrol, and if Icy Hot, the topical pain reliever, if Icy Hot was a town, he would be the mayor.
Yeah, you would. And I hope that happens someday.
Welcome to the show, Lieutenant Mike Lee.
Thanks for having me, and I hope that happens too. That would be incredible.
You know how sometimes they'll have like locally, maybe we'd have a Target day where a city's named Target. You know, since Target's a local company. Maybe there'd be an Icy Hot day and you could be the mayor of that thing.
Imagine the possibilities.
You're doing some sort of press conference from a hot tub filled with nothing but icy hot.
This was some information that was passed on here live on the radio months ago. Mike was on air with Gordon Shank, also of the Minnesota State Patrol, and Gordon kind of sold you out.
Well, we actually got a text from one of his partners.
Oh.
And I thought maybe, you never know, right, if somebody's messing with us. And the look on your face changed. There was more of a pep in your step. One of your partners said, hey, ask him about his icy hot obsession. And turns out he wasn't wrong, or he or she, I guess, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
wasn't wrong about that.
So when was the last time you covered your body in Icy Hot?
All right, I'm not going to lie. I used some this morning just on my knee. No, not my whole body. I'm telling you, the addiction is strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get it.
That stuff is really good.
Everybody's got a vice.
Yes.
No question about it. Nice to see you again.
You brought in gifts.
Yeah.
Should we open this
please.
now?
Yeah, courtesy of my wife.
Your wife. Okay.
I'm sure everyone can enjoy this.
It's icy hot.
Oh, for God's sake.
And there's like a few varieties here.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, talk about it.
There's an icy hot large patch for which you can feel working instantly.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. My shoulders are kind of sore today.
Well, actually, maybe you should dominate these since you're carrying around that kid.
There's a patch.
Yep, and then there's Icy Hot Max Lidocaine, no mess pain relief. It kind of looks like that secret deodorant. It's got like the ball on top of it.
Oh,
Sure.
those are the
roll-on.
best ones.
Don't put it there.
Oh, not in the armpits.
I mean, you can do what you want, but
It is quite strong for a beginner.
yeah.
And then just the OG Icy Hot Pain Relief Cream.
Well, that is wonderful. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, very well.
We get a little tight around here, a little sore from time to
I was
time.
saying my
Tell
back
your
was
wife
hurting.
thank you.
I shot baskets 2.5 weeks ago. I'm still feeling it.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
Yes, thank you to Lady Lee. 651-989-9393 if you'd like to text in a question to Lieutenant Lee. But before we get to any questions, you've got some kind of a message for our listening audience. What are we up against here?
Yeah. So right now in May, we are doing our speed enforcement campaign, and that's not just us with the State Patrol. It's across 300 agencies throughout the state, and we're really cracking down on speed. We know it's one of the major factors for fatals in Minnesota, so we want to try and lower that number and get people to where they need to go safely.
Some of those numbers are staggering. Like I'd imagine in June, or you'll release some of the stats, and then they say this department got this many, and some of the disparities are pretty big too. But I kind of get surprised with the amount of people that get speeding tickets.
Yeah. I know last month they finished those stats, and last month was distracted driving. And I think in that 1 month, with the whole enforcement, it was like over 6,400 or 6,500 citations.
Man.
Yeah, which is like 1,000 more than last year.
Wow.
So
You do see that quite a bit.
I noticed a lot more patrols out last month, and I figured it was because of that.
Yep.
I'm not a speeder. We've mentioned this before, and maybe I'll jinx myself and I'll screw up this weekend, but I'm not a speeder. Josh likes to hover right around the speed limit. I'm an older guy now. I'm in no hurry. But we were just talking about speeding tickets 20 minutes or so ago. Josh was talking about between 1991 and 99, when he was a younger person, He thinks he was pulled over somewhere around 15 to 16 times for speeding. You can't quite recall how many of those resulted in a ticket or not.
Yeah, and certain ones I had kept off my record. I'd go to court or whatever. But there's a couple times where I got like 3 in a week, and like I said, I just did not care for whatever reason.
That's insane.
I couldn't learn a lesson, and it just never bothered me.
What was the average? Do you remember what the average, I guess, price was on those tickets?
And what about your average speed? I mean, how fast were you going?
It's never outrageous.
Okay.
I mean, never even like double digit. Like, let's say it was a 50. I never went like 70 and a 50 or I guess 55. Never did anything like that. It was always, some of them were kind of ticky-tacky. But at the same time, I was speeding. One time I got a speeding ticket going the speed limit because the weather wasn't very good.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's driving too fast for conditions.
Yeah, even though I was going speed limit. But right now, yeah, like Nick said, I'd go 4 over.
I can't remember
to
what
not
is
erase suspicion.
what is that cut off after. I think is it like 22 miles per hour or something? Like if you go over that, it like
becomes
brings
a felony
you up to
or
a whole
something?
different degree.
No, yeah. So if you're stopped and cited at 20 or more over, then the fine would double and you get serious speed on your record.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I've had a cop before. He was helping me out. I got pulled over the day before my wedding, and I think he felt some sympathy for me, but not too much, because he's like, well, you were speeding, like astronomically, but he dropped it below that 20 because he was like, I don't want to ruin your life here.
Probably was not a trooper then.
I take that back.
It was, but it wasn't in Minnesota.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I take that back. There was a time when you and we've told this before. This was, I think, the last time I was ever pulled over was with Nick. We were on our way to training camp when it was in Mankato.
Awful.
I don't even know. It was over 100.
110 or 11,
Yeah,
12.
it was outrageous.
You were really cooking.
We
yeah.
were talking, and I know you've heard this excuse a million times, but I was in a car I wasn't familiar with. It was a girl I was dating. It was kind of a sporty car. And Nick and I were talking. There's nobody on the road in the middle of the night.
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, Nick's the one that told me, he's like, dude, you're going 100 and whatever. And I was like, oh, my God. I didn't know. And so I slowed down, and it was in St. Peter. I got pulled over, and this cop could not have been a nicer person.
He was wonderful.
And he's like, I was even behind you for a while, hoping you'd notice me and slow down, but you never noticed.
We were having too much damn fun.
Yeah, we were just BSing.
Yeah.
And so he cut me a break. I think he wrote me for like 9 over.
Oh, man.
So that guy
Holy
really
cow.
cut me a break.
maybe it was that late at night that he was just happy that you weren't intoxicated.
Probably.
Yeah. It could be.
Probably. Little did he know I was. Now, so here's an interesting question for Lieutenant Lee. We're discussing Josh's priors. Do you have the ability to look up Josh's overall driving record and see how many times he's been ticketed?
Ironically, I did, and all of them have indecent exposure on I think that's why.
It was decent exposure.
You used to wear those short shorts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it would fall out the bottom of the
Yeah, exactly.
It was tasteful exposure.
Now, we do have to get to a particular topic because we're getting blown up. Their texts are coming in on one particular topic. But before we do, from Subpar Sex Maker Jesus, he wants to know, Lee, how many times did you fail the fire department test before just becoming a cop?
Oh, boy.
And he says, LOL, see you on the softball field.
That's just silly.
I don't partake in the softball game. But yeah, I mean, you guys know why God invented cops, right?
Why is that?
So firefighters have someone to look up to.
Lieutenant Lee.
So this question that everyone's texting in, isn't this kind of old news? I remember this has been coming up for years.
Well, it's not old news
It's not
necessarily
old news.
because the rules supposedly are going to change. Lane splitting, where motorcycles can go between vehicles, like go in the middle of the lane there.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky kind of subject. It's not into effect yet, and there's still some legislative action going on right now during the session. Kind of could impact how it gets applied in the state here. But essentially the idea is that motorcycles can drive in between vehicles at no more than 15 miles over the speed limit and no more than 25 miles an hour. There's a lot of messaging going on, and people should check with Office of Traffic Safety. But the big thing here is, even though you can do it, like, you don't have to do it. And then all motorists need to be aware of the law, of how it's going to be applied and what's legal and whatnot. So yeah, that's going to be a big challenge for us as law enforcement, and we'll just kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
You know, there's going to be folks that don't like this that are in their vehicles, and they're going to move over, right, to try and stop it.
Yeah.
What happens there to that person if you see it?
It's going to be one of the challenges for law enforcement if a crash happens. Hopefully it doesn't. But, yeah, like I said, everyone, all motorists, motorcyclists, and the people driving cars, pickups, whatever, semi-drivers, they need to be aware that this will be legal at some point and what the laws are exactly.
Okay.
And, yeah.
So
again,
is there more information somewhere? So is it still not totally figured out? Because I thought it was this summer it was going to happen.
Yeah, it's supposed to be effective July 1. And like I said, there's still some, during the session right now, there's some legislative action to maybe change things. So we just need to keep an eye out.
It's in flux.
Yeah.
It's in flux. We're talking with Lieutenant Mike Lee from the Minnesota State Patrol. Every once in a while when you and Gordon Shank come in here, you talk about recruiting state patrolmen. Here's a text message that says, I'm currently going through the background investigation of becoming a Minnesota State Patrolman. How concerned should I be with having a public intox on my record and 3 minor possessions? These were 10 plus years ago.
Yeah. I would definitely disclose it during the background investigation, the interview. But we do have a list of automatic disqualifiers. So I probably, like I said, I would just be very honest with your backgrounder.
This is none of what he listed are automatic disqualifiers.
No.
Okay.
No. That's but I mean, our backgrounders are really good.
Okay.
They dive in pretty deep. So
what was the shadiest moment from your youth, Mike Lee?
I lived a pretty sheltered life.
Did you?
Way to be honest. Gordon Shank.
You know, when you mentioned, now maybe that was off air. You were talking about my brother, who's a police officer. And when they called me in his reference check, and maybe they call all family members, I don't know. But they called me, and I was completely honest. I busted him. I sold him out on so many things. So much so that the guy said, you know, you might not think it, but you've helped your brother because most family members completely lie about what an angel is. And I said, he's a terrible driver. I don't like driving with him. He's way too aggressive. He tailgates. He takes corners too fast. All this stuff. I told him everything.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's always, I mean, I was never a backgrounder, but you got to kind of wonder, like, this guy's really that good, and everyone we talk to, like, I guess maybe that's me. I don't know.
I said plenty of good things, but I did bring up all that.
That's good.
Because they asked, like, what's some of the bad things? That's one of them.
One of our listeners, Lieutenant Lee, runs a light bar directly in the high beams of his pickup. I drive into the woods every day for work, he says. I'm a logger. Is this illegal to run a light bar like a high beam?
I assume it's just standard coloring, like the white light, like a regular headlights. Yeah, it's you can definitely use it in off-road circumstances, but I think you have to have those covered if you're driving on the actual highway, roadway.
Okay, because I've seen some of those, like on pickup trucks, where it's like the seam between the hood and the grill, where they put the lights in there, like, you know, I don't know what it'd be called, a rope light, for lack of a better way to put it. Is that okay if it is same color as your headlights? Or are you saying, no, you can't drive with that? Because it's kind of like some EVs have that same type of look.
Right. Well, is that just their headlight, or is it like an additional light?
It's an additional light, like something that people put on aftermarket.
Yeah, it should be fine. It's like those lights specifically that you're talking about, Nick, like the auxiliary lights that are super high powered or whatever, they just need to be covered. And not in use when you're on the highway, but it can be used in recreational off-road circumstances.
Sounds like he just flips them on when he gets into the woods.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Is it true you can get your carry permit at 18 years old?
Yeah,
he's thinking back to some classes he took.
I know.
I thought it was 21.
I know. I thought so too.
At least when I got it, it was.
I believe it's 21.
Because you have to be 21 to buy a handgun.
Correct.
Then that would make sense.
Camping.
That would make sense.
Yeah, camping, fishing, whippet, Jesus said. Can you ask about slow-moving vehicle laws? I drive a tractor for work, and I don't think people understand how and when to pass me.
You know, I struggled with that when I lived in Wisconsin. I always just didn't pass honestly, I thought it was kind of rude. So I was like, I don't want to feel like I don't want to make them feel rushed. I'll just wait.
I'm with you. I just got to do it too. And then sometimes people behind you get pissed.
Yeah, they do.
But I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Passing a tractor, huh?
Yeah, if it's a slow-moving vehicle, it should be on the right side of the road, ideally kind of more on the shoulder if they can. They should have that reflective triangle on the back. Sometimes flashers on it. But yeah, if you can safely pass the vehicle and it's a passing area, you're more than welcome to. Obviously, their top speed is not as fast as highway traffic.
Yeah. You can get her done pretty easily, I think.
Have you?
Give her hell, Cubby. Give her hell.
Looks like we're coming up to it here, but we wanted to ask you, have you seen that video out of Houston where the lady's towing her boyfriend's car?
Oh, my God. Last night when I saw the video, I was laughing so hard. This is so friggin' insane that I can't get enough of it. Where a gal is towing a broken down vehicle. So to set it all up in case folks aren't aware, and we want to show this to Mike and get his reaction. A gal in an SUV, her boyfriend has a broken down vehicle. He drives a little Saab. Now, for some reason, the couple decided to tow the vehicle, and they attempted to tow the vehicle while it was pointed backwards with the dude behind the wheel. It did not go well. The dude in the Saab ended up being absolutely ragdolled while he's being towed. The axle snaps. He has no control. He's bashing into the guardrail. It's the biggest goat rodeo you'll ever see. It's up on 93x.com?
Yep.
So, Mike, you have the video in front of you?
I do.
And,
Should I play it?
Yeah, let's, do we have the...
He's getting thrown around.
I mean, you can't help but laugh. But at the same time, you're like, what are you thinking? Like, how did you think this is going to work?
So if you saw that, you're on patrol, you see something like that, what happens here?
You giggle like nonstop for a couple minutes, and then you stop the vehicle.
You want to let it play out a little bit?
See what happens.
If you haven't seen this on 93x.com, you'll love it. And I especially love that we've got the full audio of the never-ending tire screeching as it's being dragged. You can't even call it towed. That's being dragged.
Yeah.
And dude is behind the wheel, hanging on for his friggin' life. It is just magic. That video is pure magic.
Mike, I bet if you saw that, you'd think in your head, there are stressful days in this job, but seeing that makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So
what kind of trouble do you get in for something like that?
Yeah, so you can't tow a vehicle with like a unstructured apparatus. So you can't tow on the highway with like a tow strap or anything like that or a bungee cord. It's got to be like a fixed metal tool.
Oh, really?
So I have broken that law once.
Okay, I thought tow straps were okay.
No.
I mean, I'd avoid a freeway if I could. But.
Right. And yeah, I'm speaking specifically for the highway.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. Simply for cases like this.
Oh, man. I just love every second of that.
It is pretty funny.
Oh, it's just absolutely.
That could have been really bad.
Looked like it was.
By the way, the dude was not hurt, and they did not, the Houston police decided to give him a break. They did not ticket this couple for that incident, but the friggin' guy had a warrant out of Georgia for something, so he went to friggin' jail for that. All right. Before we go, I have one remaining question. I don't know what you got over there, Cubby. What is the protocol for a fender bender in a public parking lot? I've heard that police would always prefer that they are called to make a report and to make sure everyone behaves themselves. Is that true?
Yeah, there's no problem calling 911 if you get into a crash. It's only required by state statute for us to write a crash report if there's over $1,000 damage, which at this point, like every vehicle, you get a scratch and it's over $1,000.
Yeah.
If there's injury or if it's towed. But I would always recommend calling 911.
Sure.
You never know if the person's lying about who they are or if they don't have insurance.
Good enough. Fair enough. Absolutely.
This might be a fun one to end on. From Not Munging Jesus. My ex-wife always texts and drives, but never gets caught. Can I give her name and the patrol her phone number so she sometime in the future gets caught? I'm not bitter, just tired of her not having any consequences for her actions.
Yeah, we get that quite a bit.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's like, oh, so-and-so always texts and drive. But yeah, it's hard. because we need to observe the actual violation since it's a petty misdemeanor offense. But we're welcome to taking calls for driving complaints. If you see some unsafe driving, absolutely call 911 and report where you are, what you're seeing. And if you can stick with it until law enforcement gets there, that'd be great.
If I'm ever mad at my fiance, I'm going to do that because regarding his tent on his truck.
You're going to call the cops on him?
Yep. I'm like, hey, you know what? This guy in his stupid tent, and I promise you he's going to roll down both of his windows when you pull him over, thinking he's slick.
And you're the one who used to over and over again on this program say snitches get stitches.
It doesn't count when it comes to him.
And now you are going to call the police on the possible father of your child.
He's got it coming.
Yeah, you guys have a baby and a wedding to pay for.
Well, he thinks he's so smart, rolling down both of his windows whenever he's been pulled over, because then he thinks the cops don't see it. I'm like, I guarantee you they know. They don't care. They're doing something else.
Well, you guys know that my mom once threatened to call the local police on my dad because he was putting a microwave in the garbage.
You can't do that.
Lieutenant Mike Lee, we got to get going, but give folks one more update on what's going on with the speed enforcement here.
Yeah, we're cracking down on speed, like I said, and it's throughout the whole state. It's all times. Any day of the week, we're doing extra enforcement. And
the whole month of May?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I think it's going to extend through June as well. But, and even though this is a speed campaign, we're still looking for other violations, too. We know that there's 4 major factors for fatal crashes: speed, not wearing your seatbelt, being distracted while you're driving, and impaired driving. So we're trying to make the roads safer. It's fun. It's a fun time of year. It's summertime. Roads are dry. Weather's nice. People want to get places. So I want to make sure people get there safely.
We appreciate what you do, Mike Lee, and we appreciate your time coming in and visiting with us.
Appreciate you guys. This is great.
And thank you, or thank your wife, I guess, specifically for the nice gifts you brought and all the icy hot.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I know you won't, though.
No, we will. Oh, yeah, you're right. Not as much as, nobody will enjoy it as much as you.
You don't know
It's
how
hard
much
to reach
I'm
your
fighting
level.
just to reach over and open those boxes.
You want to sniff?
Everywhere we go, we're going to smell like the wintergreen dance team or something here for the next. That's going to be a beautiful thing.
93X.
Half-assed morning show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me, as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog, comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Caronia.
Hello to all my homies in the chat. I'm Haley Caronia with some very inconvenient truths.
Your go-to place for the hottest button issues.
Don't you hate when facts get in the way of a good news story?
Cut through the noise and get ready to scroll through the chaos of the modern world, one hot take at a time.
Hear me out. We might need to spread this information 24/7. Let's get into some scrolling time.
Nightly Scroll with Haley Caronia.
I love this place.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
I want to be wined and dined at 69.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
People with unlimited personal time off say that it actually sucks. How is that possible?
What?
I've heard that
How would
before.
that suck?
You have heard that before.
Yeah, people say it's kind of a scam.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm sure there's folks that have got it figured out and they don't feel that way at all. But I only know 2 people that have it. And
I don't think I know anybody who has all the personal time off they've ever wanted.
It's got to be rare, right? I mean, I just started hearing about this a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And it was from these 2 people. And they both work remotely, so maybe that makes a difference. But they said that you kind of get crap from your bosses and coworkers, even if you don't use what, like we get 20 days, right? There's the company holidays, and we have 20 days, and that's what happens when you work somewhere 30 years. You get 20 days. But they could take whatever they want, but they probably wouldn't even take those 20 days because of the amount of crap they get. So sometimes you
get guilt
according
tripped?
to them, you use less than maybe you would if they just said, here's your 2 weeks, use it how you want.
So the boss says you get all the time off you want, but then when you take that time off, you'll get a little email or a text there kind of guilt tripping you.
Yeah, that's what they said. You kind of get some crap.
See, that doesn't bother me. I mean, they can give me all the crap they want. I could live with that. A couple of, text messages or emails or phone calls from the boss whining about your absence, I could handle that. I could live with that. I could say, well, then, if you don't like it, then limit my time off.
So, and that's, I'm sure that's how some people feel, right? Like here's beer brewing and drinking Jesus. He's got unlimited time off. It's very much a guilt thing. I think I took more vacation when I worked in a job that had a set amount, right? Because everybody knows this is what you get. I've never worked anywhere where it rolls over. Like my mom's did. Her sick time and her vacation time rolled over, and she just rarely took it, so she was able to retire early and cash in.
Oh, that's sweet.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's use it or lose it here, and this is really the only full-time job I've ever had. So, and it's never been the same. I mean, we're on, our third company, and it's always been, you can't roll it over.
Okay. A lot of this stuff I don't really follow. I rely on Josh when it comes to time off. Matter of fact, it wasn't that long ago, a friend of mine asked me, how many days off you guys get over there? And I said, I got to be honest with you, I really don't know. I take time off when Josh tells me to take time off. But, so you're saying that the unlimited PTO is kind of a built-in mind F?
Oh, I don't know if that's how it's intended, but I can just tell you, I know two people that have it, and both of them feel the same way. Didn't your ex-wife have that, Dana? Or I don't know where he went.
He disappeared.
Where'd he go?
I don't know what he's doing over there.
Did he take some time off?
I kind of want to. Nothing's working back here,
it's
by the way.
not until after tomorrow's show that we get to leave. We just looked over into Dana's studio. He's not sitting there anymore.
I can barely hear anything you guys are saying. My headphones aren't working. The mouse isn't working. So you guys just go ahead.
Take some time to yourself.
I'm going to take a little 5 minutes.
Now, here's the difference. It's not paid time off that you'll be taking, Dana. You're going to be docked in pay for sure. Oh, there he goes again.
He's leaving again.
Well, that's too bad because I think he has said his ex-wife had it, and she didn't like it either.
A listener says, a listener by the name of Ryan has texted in to say, yes, unlimited PTO is a built-in mind F. Here's more information on this because, like I said, I barely pay attention to what we have available to ourselves here. I don't know anyone with unlimited personal time off. A lot of this stuff is very confusing to me to read about it. Unlimited PTO sounds like a dream, they say. But a lot of people say it's nothing to get excited about. Employers are offered unlimited paid time off to attract employees seeking better work-life balance. Okay, that makes sense. On paper, it looks great, but folks say that isn't the case. And I can't believe that. Go ahead.
Here's a texter that says, everyone has unlimited time off. You just might not have a job or any money if you take too much off.
Yeah. I don't get it. But here are some of the reasons. Okay, maybe you already covered some of this, Josh. Unlike traditional personal time off, unused days under unlimited policies don't roll over or get paid out when you leave the company. This means employees might end up with less benefits. God, I'll always need a guy like you around, Josh, someone who understands some of the terminology here. I mean, you're the only guy in the history of this company who has, on more than one occasion, read the company handbook from start to finish, correct?
Correct. I just read the most recent one. Now, you guys all signed that you read it correctly?
Yes.
Correct, I'm saying?
I read some of it because I had to.
Why did you have to?
Like the maternity leave part.
Sure.
All that nonsense.
Explain this to me, Josh. It says here, some view unlimited personal time off as a public relations strategy rather than a genuine benefit, allowing companies to avoid providing a quantifiable perk. What does that mean? What does that mean to normal people?
I think it's just to confuse everybody who hears that.
Yeah, what?
No, somebody says PTO isn't personal time off, it's paid time off. Did we say otherwise?
I've probably been saying it incorrectly. Like I said, I don't follow these things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What have I been saying?
I guess I didn't notice it if that's what you said. Yeah, it's paid time off.
Paid time off. Sorry, I'm sure I probably used the wrong term.
Okay, yeah, I didn't notice you said it incorrectly.
Paid time off.
I mean, that's different. I mean, shoot, you'd think, yeah, you can take the time off, but you got to come back, finish your work, and we're not going to pay you, but you're guaranteed a job versus, right, they still pay if you don't come in.
Here's the part. Here's one of the elements to this article that grabbed me. Employees report feeling guilty about taking extended vacations. Come on, you can't shake that?
I would if I felt like I was screwing over coworkers.
You're the most Catholic guy on planet Earth. You're going to feel guilt no matter what move you make.
Right. I mean, if I felt like if I was, if coworkers had to pick up the slack or, it's making somebody else's job miserable, I'd feel, we take time off at the same time so that I don't have to feel that way. We don't have to feel that way.
Hopefully,
less days are affected through the year.
Hopefully, and this is the boss's job, hopefully it's set up to where if you take time off, extended time off, it doesn't bone everyone else in the building. Although I can understand you being worried about that, that's something you shouldn't have to worry about. That's something the boss should make sure does not happen. If Josh takes 2 weeks off, we're not all going to be screwed.
Fauché Maintenance Jesus said he has unlimited time off. It's awesome, but that's because my boss is cool. No guilt trips.
Sorry, PTO stands for paid time off, not personal time off. I'm new to this. I apologize. So there you go. I can't believe. I'd like to try it myself before I determine whether unlimited paid time off is a hindrance, is a burden.
Sometimes having more than a day or two off, it's actually a lot more work beforehand and afterwards where it's not even really worth it. And you're still working over vacation mostly. And I think a lot of the people that have this unlimited say the same thing, that, I'm still doing something, checking in, that kind of stuff.
Ah, man.
Now, with Ashley, maybe you read this, when you're on maternity leave, we can't talk anything about work.
Yeah, it's crazy how strict it is.
Do you know does anyone know, okay, Mr. Company Handbook, why is that? I'm glad you brought that up. That's really strange to me.
It's weird.
When you take maternity leave, we are not allowed to contact Ashley about anything work-related.
Nothing work-related.
Why is that?
Oh, I think just so she can focus on our nephew, and doesn't have to worry about work stuff, that kind of thing. And I don't know, I forgot, I was going to ask the boss if that's a company policy or if that's a law. I don't know.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Ashley?
I'm not sure, no.
And how much is this? How long is this maternity leave?
6 weeks.
God damn.
It's funny.
No.
When
it's a long time, but it's not going to feel like it. It's going to fly by.
It will to us.
I'm sure it will. They all do. Time off always flies by way quicker than you want it to.
I was, I've been so excited for this, almost weirdly excited.
It has been kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
And then my wife brought up just like a few days ago, what are you guys going to do when Ashley's gone? And then I got really depressed. I'm like, I don't know. I need to see her every day.
And then the depression setting.
Now I'm mad at her for being pregnant.
Sorry,
I can't believe you did this to me.
You are the most excited man I've ever seen about a baby, an upcoming baby. How do you say it in the business?
And I can't explain it. I wasn't anticipating this. I don't know why.
You get baby fever.
I don't. That's the thing.
Yes, you do.
I do now.
Yeah,
right
you
the
do.
Second I do. Yeah. But I've never had that before. Even when my son was born, I'm like, I don't get it. Why do people like babies? I'm useless. They're loud. He can't communicate. He can't do anything cool. Why do people like this?
They can't do anything cool.
Were you useless when your children were tiny?
I was just there for my wife, basically.
But were you made useless by your wife where she said, I'll handle this, or did you really stumble and bumble through whatever responsibilities are there when a baby is born?
Well, I noticed at least my kid.
I can't picture you being terrible at it.
Well,
There's
she
just
did.
not much for you to do.
That's it. Like, she did pretty much everything, and she wanted to, right? She wanted to do everything, and so I'd had to help and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'd ask to change a diaper or something like that. The baby's not hers. And she...
So you were willing to try these things, but your wife said, no, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I basically was just there to, hey... kind of like if, let's say I went after this and became, I worked at a auto body shop or something.
How much time off do you have?
Well, it's unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah. So I'm getting paid from both jobs. So I go, I wouldn't be the guy fixing the car. I'd be the guy going, hey, go grab me that socket wrench. And then I'd have to ask another guy what a socket wrench is. Then I'd go grab it and hand it to him. I think that's pretty much how it was when my kid was born. I was just the go-get stuff guy.
Sure.
And, hey, run to the store and get this or help me find this.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all you're really good for.
One of my oldest friends, when his first child was born, he reached for the diaper and he reached for the baby. First day they brought the thing home from the hospital, he says, okay, I'll do this and I'll do that. And his wife said, no, you won't. And he said, what are you talking about? I'd like to help. And she said, no, I got it.
Oh.
I don't know if that was a control power move or it was an I don't trust you kind of a move. Like, hey, look, I know you. You'll drop this damn thing. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but she took all responsibility away from him, and he said, okay, 6 weeks.
No, people are
Ashley.
texting in saying that 6 weeks is nothing.
What do you mean
Yeah,
nothing?
it's really not.
I didn't know how much it was. My wife wasn't working at the time. I didn't know. 6 weeks seemed like a bunch to me, but I guess not. According to texters, that's nothing at all.
So
12 weeks
what
is
they mean by
more-
that
is ideal.
That's
but-
the low end of your average maternity leave?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, so what is it you said, 12 weeks?
Yeah, 12 weeks is more average now.
Do you mind me asking you a bit of a personal question?
Go for it.
Is that paid, or is it just saying, hey, your job's here when you come back?
Paid.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Word.
I think that's the most important part, right?
Yeah, that makes a big difference.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be here after 6 weeks.
It'll fly by. Josh, that's funny that because you have been showing signs of baby fever from the get-go.
Oh, and I know it's a little odd.
You're asking her questions all the
I love
time
it.
off air. You refer to this child as your nephew.
Yep.
But that cracks me up that whatever you said a day or two ago, you're sitting around the house again, all excited about the birth of this baby. So you went from excitement, and then your wife says, well, what are you going to do when Ashley's not on the radio show? And then the depression set in.
I never thought. I just pictured it's all of us like normal. There's Ashley, and then there's a car seat next to her with our nephew here every day.
6 weeks without Smashley.
This guy says, as a man, I get 10 weeks.
I remember the first time.
Dude, jealous.
I'm so friggin' naive. I know. I'll admit it. There's a lot of details that I don't follow. Number one, time off. I just follow orders is what I follow. I wait for Josh to say, we've got this. Okay, I'll stay home then. I also am completely naive to parenting. The first time we talked about this maternity and paternity leave, I couldn't friggin' believe it. I couldn't believe it. Really? You can just 10 weeks, 12 weeks, just all to yourself? That's incredible. Sounds great. I'm sure it's a lot of work, but it sounds great.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
You're gonna be busy.
I'm gonna get way less sleep than I do with coming to work.
I agree. There's probably gonna be times where you wish you could go to work versus dealing with what you're dealing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah, but why would you do this to me?
I'm so sorry.
What is she doing to you?
She got pregnant, and she's going to be gone for 6 weeks.
I know.
Never once. Oh,
I didn't
my
think
wife
about
hates whores too. Jesus said that I should ask for some uncle leave. Sorry, guys, I can't come in next week. I get a week off.
I got some uncle days.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got
I'm
some
looking
uncle
at
duties.
a lot of
You have
uncle
to be
days.
available whenever I need you. So
Gotta
obviously you can't work.
Got to take the uncle days, or else they'll just disappear. You never get them back.
My wife, I think, could win a diaper changing speed contest.
I bet she could.
I mean, it's unbelievable how quick she could do it. By the time I turn around, grab the baby powder or whatever, she's got it done. It's unreal.
You would just see some baby arms and legs flailing for a second or two, and it was over.
Yeah. I don't know. So it was like, I think it was 2 companies ago when my son was born. And I did. I mean, we had him induced on a Friday, so I wouldn't have to take off any work. We were back on Monday, that kind of thing. I don't know if we had paternity leave then. I probably wouldn't have took it unless she needed me to.
Again,
but I mean, that's one I could leave immediately after work if I had to get home and help her out. So
yeah,
our schedule is easier for that.
Yeah, that
we can
does
do most
help
of our
a lot.
work from home.
That's why I'm not really worried about only getting 6 weeks of maternity leave because, I mean, these hours make it simple where we're really lucky we'll never need daycare. So
all new to me, a brand new world to me. So it's really interesting to hear what you folks know about it.
Yeah, we never needed daycare either, luckily. I mean, I've got friends who have had to have daycare, and the cost is outrageous. I had no idea it was that much. It's like you could have a second home somewhere. Especially if you got, let's say you have twins, you got a couple of babies.
Oh, my gosh, no.
That's too bad that the cost is so high. for daycare. You would hope that folks wouldn't have to, be scraping up money for that. How about
that's something where you might be a little nervous taking the lowest bid. Why is this so cheap?
Yeah, right.
Everybody else is pretty expensive.
You don't take the one off Craigslist or something?
So true.
You peer in the window of the joint, they've got cages down in the basement. Oh, God, no wonder this doesn't cost much. They just lock the kid up and give him a bucket of water like a dog. How about this type of a situation on the topic of parenting? Do you know anybody who's been in this situation? I know two guys who both impregnated a woman on a one-night stand. I don't know how that happens.
It's a mystery.
And were fully prepared throughout some of the pregnancy to be there for that child, be there, whatever that might mean, to be a supportive parent in whatever way the couple decides to work that out, right? And then before the children were born, the woman said, yeah, no thanks. And the guy said, but I'm ready to do this or that, and I'm happy to be this type of a dad or that type of a dad for this child and for you. And the women said, yeah, no. And they said, okay. Do you know anyone who's been in that situation?
Well, a friend, you know this guy too. He knocked up his babysitter when he was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
So he started out with a penthouse letter, and then things really didn't go so well for him in the romantic department until he was in his 20s, and even then it was kind of a nightmare.
12 years old.
I didn't even know that could happen at the age of 12. And he never met his kid, never had, I don't even know. I think he knows the kid's name, but that's it. He had nothing to do with it.
How old was the babysitter?
She was, so he said he was 12. She was about 19.
Oh, God. That's against the law.
I know, disgusting.
Ew.
So the baby was born while he was a 6th grader.
Right.
7th grader maybe at that point.
Oh, my gosh. What a nightmare.
And she said bye, and he said K, and what? You said...
Yeah, I don't know who said bye, right? I don't know if his parents said, we're not dealing with this.
That's insanity.
Or if he was given an he's 12. He's not going to be going out and getting a pipe fitter job or something to earn some money.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know how that necessarily worked out. Because when I met him, he was in his 20s. And I can't remember how it came up, but he's like, oh, I have a daughter. I'm like, oh, I've never heard you talk about her. He's like, well, that's because I've never met her. And he told me the story. Because I'm like, your daughter seems pretty old.
Did his parents seek any action against this babysitter?
Boy,
he never told you any stories?
One way or the other.
That's against the law. Yeah. Both of the stories, both of the friends I have who have been in that situation, very interesting to me. One of them, I don't think to this day has any idea whatever came of that child, because the woman said, thanks, but no thanks. Thank you for supporting. She was, I don't know, maybe halfway through the pregnancy or something. And she said, it's very kind of you to, support me or make the effort. But I'm going to go off and do this on my own. Nice knowing you. I remember, because I saw the guy every week. He was a bartender at one of my favorite bars. So I saw him damn near every week. And at first, he was very stressed by the situation. Stressed but excited by saying, it wasn't either of our perfect scenarios, meaning he and the woman, but we're doing our best, and, it was a one-night stand. We're getting to know each other. We've been kind of dating, so we can, and I'm ready for this. But you'd see him kind of sweating it out once in a while. Then one night I walked into the bar, and I saw kind of a different posture, a more relaxed character. And I said, what's going on here? And he said, well, my baby mama just told me goodbye. And he had mixed emotions about it. The other guy, the other friend of mine who was in that situation, I believe The woman still sends him pictures of his children who he's never met and says hello now and again.
Crazy.
There's all types out there, you know what? There's all different approaches to the thing.
All right, Nick, here's some info from the Brother and Sisterhood on the cost of daycare. Here's one person, $26,000 a year for 2 kids.
No.
My buddy has 3 kids. This is from Dirt Slinging Jesus. 3 kids aging from 1 to 5. He pays $700 a week. Dumbass welder Jesus doesn't miss the days when he had 2 kids in daycare for $2,000 a month.
Jesus.
That's what I heard. My neighbor had 2 kids in daycare, and it was $2,000 a month. And then he got a bit of a break when he had this 3rd kid in daycare, and it was $2,500 a month. Vertically challenged Jesus said, when my son was a baby, daycare cost us $13,000 a year, and that was part-time. 3 kids in daycare at once, $5,000 a month, says babyface destroyer Jesus.
What are we doing here, and when do we open the half-ass morning show daycare?
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't want to give the Jesus name in case she doesn't want me to.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying there's quite a discrepancy between what a parent pays and what the actual person taking care of your kid makes. You know, if they work for a company of some
Oh,
sort.
sure.
That's terrible.
I suppose you gotta get licenses and stuff. You can't just have people just drop kids off here and we'll look after them during the show for a couple $100.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
On 93X.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast.
I am the heel that you love to hate, O'Shea Jackson Jr. TJ Jefferson, what up?
Friends of the show are really wanting to engage with this podcast.
Welcome, AJ Francis.
They were like, we just want you to cause a ruckus. So I went out there, did my own version of a pipe bomb, and it went everywhere.
Wrestling royalty right here. Mick Foley. Anything that you're glad that it's gone?
Well, glad the chair shots to the head are gone.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network.
Can you tell them where to find
us?
Yeah,
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Idly ho, neighborinos.
93X.
Half-assed morning show.
Ashley had to dump this on me. Okay. The grossest but most adorable, I disagree with that part, couple habits. And we probably all know a couple or two who are they're just too comfortable. They're too comfortable. In my opinion, you still got to keep some of what every human does. Bodily functions and such. Sure, we all do it. You still got to keep that away. That still has to be a private thing.
For me, I mean, you know, people...
For Christ's sake.
Whatever makes you happy in your relationship, fine.
No, I go against that. Don't give me that whatever makes you happy in your relationship crap.
I keep my eye on my own bobber, as Ashley taught me once, that phrase. And so I...
Yeah, she's one to talk.
That's true.
She's got her eye on everybody's bobber.
She taught me that phrase, but yeah, she doesn't live by it. But I believe it's fine to have a little bit of mystery in your marriage.
Yes, leave some mystery.
That's how I like to do it.
I don't need to know how you take a dump.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
For God's sake.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, like even sometimes my wife, her... I don't know if I'd call it dirty talk, but kind of is too clinical. And I had to say, the other day, by the other day, I mean many years ago, you got to work on that a little bit. It kind of kills it.
Whose dirty talk was this?
Like my wife, sometimes it'll be too clinical, like, too scientific.
She says penis and vagina?
Something like that.
That's not the way you dirty talk. No. You use the words that you see in the magazines.
Yeah,
on the videos. You don't say vaginal area and anyway.
There's something I wish I could. I don't think I could say it without getting in trouble. But yeah, sometimes it's just such a mood killer. It's crazy.
So you had to tell her. You had to say, look, I mean, you're not teaching a health class. Throw a little vulgarity into this.
She can, but yeah, there's sometimes it kills everything.
She didn't get it at first. That's fine. You got to start somewhere. All right. Here are these gross, but some would say adorable couple habits. This stuff, it turns my stomach. Starting with pimple popping sessions, absolutely out of the question, no.
My wife used to assault me with that, where she'd sneak up and just go for it. I requested that she stops.
No, why?
Some people love it. Ashley, aren't you someone that loves it?
Yeah.
Yes, you love doing it or receiving or
doing it. No, I don't want somebody to do it to me.
God.
I'm self-conscious about anything like that, so no, stay away from me.
It's terrible and it's wrong.
Going back real quick to the bull semen.
Yeah.
Jenna Tulls, Jesus said, wait, you guys are getting energy drinks in your cans of bull semen? No, you got it the opposite way, man. It's the complete opposite way.
You thought there was bull semen in your energy drink.
Yeah, no, it's opposite.
Yeah. Using each other's deodorant. Okay, it's not gross. I suppose it is sort of gross, armpit juice getting on each other. I don't know.
I did that this morning.
That one doesn't really, that could have been left off this article because so much of the rest of it is terrible.
I always wanted to try Secret back in the day. Remember the commercials, strong enough for a man but made for a woman? That kind of thing?
That's what Dana uses. That's why I call him bitch pits in my phone.
Oh.
We had a listener text in and call him that.
I forgot. He said he uses women's deodorant because it's, don't tell me, less abrasive on his skin or something like that?
Yep.
More? Okay. That could have been left out of this. It doesn't belong with the others. Because some of these other gross habits that couples have that some would call adorable, doing sniff tests on your partner, sniffing their pits and whatnot to see if they're, yuck.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely done that. Like, hey, do I smell weird?
And then you ask your significant other to smell under your arm?
Yeah.
Are you cool with an answer that is unflattering?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, why can't
I want to know the truth.
What's your face busy doing? You can't put your own face into your armpit.
Because I might not be able to, because I've been around it, I might not be able to.
You're nose
smell
blind.
It. Yeah.
That's what they call that.
Burping and farting competitions.
That's a big no.
Competitions.
That's a huge
competitions,
no.
Yeah.
So far, boys, I'm 0-100 against the wife.
I can't.
She's a real champ.
I can't seem to get a win against the wife. I used to dominate you boys back in our college days, but ever since I married this gal, I can't win one farting competition.
Oh.
The bathroom door's always open. Oh, we're totally comfortable with each other. We leave the bathroom door open.
I never shut the door. Not that often when I pee.
I close it no matter what's going on in there.
It's actually, we have fun with that because, like yesterday, he was downstairs doing laundry and he came upstairs to put it away, and he walks past the bathroom and I don't even have the light on and I'm just in there peeing. And he goes, "Oh, look at that!" So he likes it, I think.
Well, eating off of each other's fingers.
Yeah, I don't really like
she's
doing
got
that.
a little cake on her finger, and boom, I'm going to have some of that. Gross. Wiping each other's noses. You're not my child. You're my significant other. I'm not wiping your nose.
Yeah, unless I'm on my deathbed, then yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
Right. If you're unable to move, then maybe I'll wipe your damn nose.
Yeah, I don't know if I could ever get that comfortable with any individual.
No. Here are the rest that aren't so brutally offensive and disgusting. Someone eating off your plate. Well, maybe not someone. We're specifically talking about your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife kind of a thing.
That's not gross.
You bit into the sandwich. You don't want the rest of it. She finishes it. I've done that before, but I wouldn't. I've been pretty hungry. I'll tell you that. I've been pretty hungry.
I wouldn't use her utensils. I don't think.
Oh yeah,
that would kind of gross me out.
That's not right. That's not mentioned in here, but that's all. That should be in here instead of the deodorant thing. Yeah, using someone else's fork.
That's so funny. I don't even think about that when I do it.
No. Stealing their socks or wearing their socks. I don't get why that's in here.
Well, because it's even if they're dirty. So you would
Oh, it
take
says
their
here, yeah.
socks off of their feet. This one really grosses me out.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Yeah, I'm not putting on your dirty socks.
No.
Well,
who does that?
That is so gross.
I'm trying to think of a situation where I would need to have that happen.
Well, actually, this came up at Dana's wedding. I was wearing heels, and I hate being the person that takes their heels off to dance, but my gosh, my feet killed. And so I did, and my fiance offered me his socks. And I was like, no.
Oh, he did. I'm sorry, I missed that the first time around. Yeah, and Josh, good question. Give me a situation where I'm going to need to remove my wife's socks and put them on my feet. Maybe if we just lived through a plane crash or something and we're stranded inside the fuselage or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard anybody say, I got these emergency socks just in case.
Face licking and weird kisses are also mentioned in this article about the grossest but most adorable couple habits. Face licking and weird kisses.
Like Spider-Man kisses, butterfly kisses.
Oh, I don't know. What's
a
Spider-Man kiss?
Upside down kiss.
Oh, that cut from the movie?
Yep.
Okay.
Butterfly kisses? What's that?
With your eyelashes.
Oh, I've never done that.
Have you seen that? I've seen that before.
No, that sounds like something you'd do if you were a fourth grader.
Well, I was going to mention, I've seen it, a mom do that to her little kid just to be funny.
If there's face licking and weird kisses going on, we're having sex at that time, okay? Baby talk and weird voices that you use with each other. I don't know that. I don't play that game.
You haven't done that.
Cleaning up, wiping the food off each other's faces. You got a little whipped cream there on the side. Let me take care. Again, that's something that your mother does when you're a child. You don't do that to other grown people.
Yeah, usually that's after I've told him 3 times. No, it's right there. It's right there. I'll just get it. Gosh.
With your bare hand?
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh. What if you get some of their saliva on your hand? Ooh, saliva.
Oh, yeah. My wife will wipe dog boogers off the dogs with just her bare hand.
Oh, yeah, same here.
And then 10 minutes later, she'll be touching your face.
Yeah, now I'll put on gloves, a whole hazmat suit. Got to get a couple of Kleenexes to take those out. I can't just touch them like that.
Couples should keep their hands to themselves.
I usually just wipe their eye boogers into their fur. So then I don't see where it ends up.
Stop it with the eye boogers.
That's kind of what my wife does.
Yeah. But if it stays on my hand, I start to freak out. It grosses me out.
93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Hey, podcast pals. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Take it from me as a newly married guy with a very opinionated dog. Comfort is kind of important right now. That's why I'm a Smart Club member of Standard Heating. I get to schedule service when it actually works for me, pay how I want, and choose what fits our home best. Pick the HVAC company that treats you like family, not just another name on the list. That's Standard. Check out standardheating.com and tell them Dana sent you.